A guest losing his pants on live TV while trying to fix a microphone. One moment the host is cracking jokes, the next he is holding the bare foot of the guest with his hands.
I need a sugar mama.
These are not sketches or rehearsed bits. They actually happened on live television. In this episode, we will continue looking at the most embarrassing moments ever caught during late-night shows. Letterman sucks hair of Aniston on live TV. During a 1998 episode of The Late Show with David Letterman, something truly odd and uncomfortable happened. Jennifer Aniston, known for her role in Friends, came on as a guest. David Letterman, who was in his 50s at the time, suddenly got up from behind his desk.
Can I just try? Forgive me if this is rude. I just want to try one thing.
Without warning, he walked over to Aniston, reached out, grabbed a strand of her hair, and put it in his mouth. The audience reacted with nervous laughter. Jennifer looked shocked and clearly uncomfortable. She even let out a scream and pulled away. Letterman kept going, placing one hand on her neck as she tried to laugh it off. He handed her a tissue afterward so she could wipe off her hair. The audience and crew looked stunned. Aniston tried to stay polite, but her face showed she was not enjoying the moment. Emma Stone turns talk show into couch therapy. On The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, Emma Stone had a moment that left both the host and the crowd laughing and a little surprised. It started when she said she wanted to lie down on the guest couch. At first, it sounded like a joke.
I was backing up here and I really thought I was going to lay down on this couch. And now I kind of want to lay down on the couch.
But then she stood up, adjusted her short skirt carefully, and actually did it.
On the couch while we talk.
You can go for it. Go.
Okay.
Try it. Give it a shot. It's pretty cool.
It'll be like...
She laid back fully on the couch, bright red shoes up, hands resting on her stomach. She said it would feel like a therapy session.
Comfy there.
But
I feel like a therapist.
Can I do it where I just don't look at you and you can ask me questions about my life?
Jimmy quickly joined in, picking up his notes and pretending to be a therapist. He asked her silly questions with a fake accent, while Emma stayed in character, answering in a calm voice while staring at the ceiling.
How long has you been having these horrible dreams?
I don't know.
Emma then sat up quickly, laughing hard, trying to fix her skirt while still smiling. There was a small moment of embarrassment on her face as she settled back into a sitting position.
Emma Stone, I need to talk to you about the real stuff here. The real.
Just watch the camera.
Broken mic turned into a total wardrobe surprise. One of the funniest moments from The Tonight Show with Jay Leno happened during a 2003 episode. Jay Leno was joined by supermodel Heidi Klum and comedian Martin Short. It all started with a small problem. Klum suddenly looked panicked and said her mic had stopped working.
My bra just broke.
Martin Short leaned over with a cheeky smile and asked if he could help fix it from the back. Klum laughed hard, covering her waist with her hands. Then Jay Leno came over to help too. Now both men were leaning closely over her, trying to fix the problem. The audience laughed as the situation became more awkward and funny. Just when things seemed to calm down, Martin Short reached across Klum and made a joke about making a wish. Then both covered her with their jackets so that she can fix her mic under her shirt. Foot on the desk trouble. Heather Locklear was on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno when things got a little strange. While chatting, she casually put her bare foot on desk of Jay. Her heel was slipping off, and she joked about her foot looking wider than usual.
And I think it is becoming that because you're walking so much. Well,
you know, if you had to trade the big rear end...
Leno removed her heel and started pressing around her arch like he was testing it. Heather laughed loudly, maybe from surprise or just how odd it felt.
And I don't know if you want to. See, it's kind of getting fat and white and...
Let me see how fat.
Then Jay looked at the camera and said his wife watches the show. That line made the audience laugh even more, but it also made the whole moment feel even more embarrassing.
Now, my wife watches this show.
I have to do that too.
Here you are, honey.
She's done the ice cube trick on you.
Bobcat Goldthwait sets. Couch on fire. One of the wildest moments in late-night history happened on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. Comedian Bobcat Goldthwait came on and clearly felt pressure to act wild. Things got really weird when Bobcat stood up on the couch, right next to actress Lauren Hutton, who was also a guest. She looked surprised, but stayed cool.
Right. Well, I thought, what can I do?
He then sat back down, but the strange behavior did not stop.
But that's not funny, or I don't know what I can do.
Well, do you see yourself as a role model for our young people?
I think I'm an excellent role model for children.
In a shocking moment, Bobcat pulled out lighter fluid, sprayed it on the couch, and lit it on fire. The flames were real.
What if I don't know, what if I set his furniture on fire?
No, don't set that on fire.
Jay looked panicked and quickly threw water from his mug to put it out.
Now you have to sit in this.
Jay then tried to make Bobcat sit in the burned, wet spot, which led to an awkward tug-of-war.
Chair.
You know, Jay, I'm no stranger to sitting in gas.
Bobcat ran off stage and fell to the floor, legs in the air.
That chair. Sit down in that chair. Now where's he going now?
When grammar wars go public. During a typical night on The Late Show with Conan O'Brien, things took an unexpected turn. The guest that night was actress Jennifer Garner. Conan said the word snuck during a story, and Jennifer quickly interrupted him. She corrected him by saying the correct word was sneaked.
On Alias, before we move on to the movie, on Alias you get to do such cool stuff. I mean, there's...
Then she added that snuck was not even a real word. She even brought up his Harvard education, which made the moment more awkward. For a second, Conan looked caught off guard. The audience laughed hard, adding to the awkwardness.
Martial arts techniques that you get to learn. You also get to learn this great sort of spy techniques on how to hide and...
Then he reached under his desk and pulled out a huge dictionary. He flipped through it, while Jennifer watched curiously.
In real life?
Well, not so much. Like, we have a lot of conversations about how to actually hold the gun. Do we hold the gun like this?
With a big smile, Conan pointed at the page and read the definition. Yes, snuck was listed as the past tense of sneak.
So much lately?
I hope not. I heard you carry a gun around.
Just for show.
He showed the dictionary to the camera and audience like it was a trophy. Jennifer smiled politely, but looked slightly embarrassed. That Mick fix got way too personal.
Spy techniques I did use actually at work, because they are very sneaky and sketchy.
That Mick fix got way too personal. On The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, there was a moment that quickly turned strange. Kristen Stewart was the guest. She was chatting with Colbert about her shaved head and her latest movie.
And this is step one to being Bruce Willis?
Yeah, I guess so.
Suddenly, Colbert paused and looked at her chest area. Then, without much delay, he reached forward and touched the top of her shirt. He was trying to fix her microphone, which was crackling during the talk.
Just do one thing here. I just want to take this mic and put this and maybe adjust your mic slightly. We're going to cut this part out because it's a little too intimate.
The chain around her neck was hitting the mic, and the sound was causing problems. Colbert explained that quickly. But the way he reached in made things feel very uncomfortable. Kristen leaned in to help, but it still looked awkward. He even said out loud that they would cut this part out because it felt too personal.
But your chain, if you don't mind, your chain was hitting your mic and we couldn't hear you.
Kristen gave a small, awkward smile. She looked like she was trying to stay cool. Then the joke started. Kristen even stood up, took both necklaces, and stuffed them into her pants.
Now that chain's hitting it.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Fun. Okay,
Okay, thanks very much.
When a kick nearly ended the interview. One of the most unforgettable and embarrassing moments in late-night history happened during a 1987 episode of Late Night with David Letterman. The guest was actor Crispin Glover, known at that time for playing the father of Michael J. Fox in Back to the Future. The awkwardness grew when Glover pulled out a crumpled newspaper and began angrily reading gossip headlines about himself.
The press says things about you in the paper.
He became visibly agitated and claimed people were trying to make him sound weird.
I'm strong, I'm strong. I can arm wrestle. Do you want to arm wrestle? No. I've been taking...
Just when things could not get more uncomfortable, he suddenly stood up and nearly kicked Letterman in the face while yelling about being strong.
These aren't mine. I can kick.
Okay.
Letterman quickly left the stage. After a break, he returned with dry humor, clearly shaken.
Okay, I'm going to go check on the top 10.
Oprah unexpected slip with Drew Brees. One funny and awkward moment came during the Oprah Winfrey Show. Oprah welcomed NFL star Drew Brees to her live show in Chicago. As they sat down, Oprah was still full of energy. Then came the mix-up. Oprah turned to him and noticed a dark spot on his cheek. Without thinking much, she leaned forward and asked who had kissed him. She thought it was lipstick and reached out to wipe it off.
All right, who just kissed you? There's a big old kiss right there.
But that was no smudge. It was his birthmark. Drew looked a bit surprised at first, but quickly laughed. He leaned back slightly and smiled wide.
To see you.
Thank you. Oprah paused and realized what had happened. Her face shifted from focused to embarrassed in a second. Then both of them burst into laughter. Justin faced blushes and questions on Ellen. During one episode of The Ellen DeGeneres Show, Justin Bieber found himself in an awkward spot. It started off simple. Ellen welcomed him for Bieber Week and praised his music.
Around having a meeting, and we said, let's have a Bieber week, an entire Bieber week, and we're like, who would do it?
Things felt easy and light. Justin smiled, took sips from his mug, and talked about filming a music video in cold Icelandic water.
I love your new music, by the way.
Thank you.
And other people do too.
But then came a sudden shift. Ellen brought up the paparazzi photos from his trip to Bora Bora. A censored image of him standing outside, completely nude, popped up on the screen.
Speaking of you in your underwear, let's talk about the paparazzi shot in Bora Bora.
Okay.
Ellen asked how he missed the hidden camera. Justin said he had not seen any boats and was not looking out for anyone. He shared how his manager had told him about the leak and how shocked he felt.
I think I wasn't really looking out for them either, so...
Was there a boat? When you think back on it now, can you see?
Things got more embarrassing when Ellen pointed out a woman in the photo and asked if she was his girlfriend. Justin blushed and called her just a friend. Ellen kept teasing. She joked about never seeing her friends naked on vacation.
Brought a friend to Bora Bora?
Yeah.
And you're just naked with your friend?
Why are you putting me on the spot like this? Gosh.
Justin laughed nervously and ended up covering his face with both hands. He was clearly flustered.
And they don't bring me to Bora Bora.
Stop, you're making me blush, dude.
The neck-biting request that went too far. Things went from fun to strange very quickly on the Tyra Banks show. Robert Pattinson and Taylor Lautner were there, smiling and joking at first. But then Tyra suddenly told Robert to bite her neck.
I want you to bite me right now.
Really?
I want you to bite me, Robert.
What?
She was completely serious. Robert froze. Taylor kept laughing on the side, clearly amused by what was happening. Tyra leaned closer and told him she was not joking.
Are you absolutely sure about this?
I'm really
Tyra?
serious.
Yeah?
Yes.
They screamed as Tyra pushed her hair aside and waited for the bite. Robert looked nervous but leaned in and bit her neck. Tyra made it even more dramatic by throwing her head back and letting out loud gasps. Afterward, she shouted that he left a hickey. She kept pointing at her neck and talking about how good it felt. Robert laughed awkwardly.
Oh my God, I got a hickey from Robert. That was no joke. That felt good, too.
Daly brings an anteater on stage. On the Dick Cavett show, Salvador Daly walked in holding a leash. But it was not a dog. It was a real anteater. The audience clapped, but people were clearly confused. Daly looked serious. He shook hands with the other guests while the anteater sniffed around the set.
How do you do?
Cavett tried to keep things normal and made a light joke. Daly did not seem to care. He pulled the anteater on the table.
Well, I think you've caught something.
Then he pointed it toward the woman sitting next to him. She leaned back, trying to avoid it, looking shocked but still smiling.
Noticing that you have an anteater with you, Mr. Daly. Oh, please.
Cavett quickly reacted. He told Daly to stop, clearly trying to control the moment. It broke every talk show rule. A wild animal on stage, no warning, and making other guests feel awkward. Daly acted like it was normal, but the room felt tense. Sat on lap, without any shame. During an episode of The Graham Norton Show, something very odd happened. The guests were sitting together and chatting. Everyone was laughing and having a good time. Nicole Kidman did something no one saw coming. She stood up, walked across, and sat right on the lap of Keith Urban. Norton stared for a moment, clearly confused.
On his lap.
Keith, you can sit.
Happy wife, happy life, Jimmy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if you want to, Keith.
What made it more awkward was that she did not get up quickly. She stayed there like it was normal. She even acted playful, but it felt very strange.
Kitchen utensils, 3, 2, 1.
Fork. Uh-oh. Did you say fork?
I said fork.
The man looked stiff and uncomfortable. Norton tried to keep the show going, but it was hard.
What did you say?
Blue Jay?
Blue Jay?
Well, I should have said kookaburra.
Lawler delivers a surprise slap to Kaufman. On Late Night with David Letterman, a routine comedy interview turned into chaos when wrestler Jerry Lawler and comedian Andy Kaufman faced off on live television. Letterman had just introduced Kaufman in his signature calm style. Lawler sat quietly until Letterman signaled a break. Suddenly, Lawler rose and slapped Kaufman across the cheek without warning.
On April 5th, 1982, in Memphis, Tennessee, Andy Kaufman, the actor, comedian...
Kaufman fell off his chair in dramatic fashion, and the audience reacted with shocked gasps and nervous laughter.
Wrestling champion, had his first wrestling match with a member of his own sex.
When the show returned from the break, Kaufman stood by desk of Letterman, furious and shouting insults at Lawler. Letterman tried to calm the scene, but only made it more tense. Viewers heard harsh language that had no place on a late-night talk show.
Andy, go ahead and have a seat, if you will. First of all, gentlemen, thank you.
Lawler stayed seated, watching tirade of Kaufman. Kaufman then grabbed a drink and threw it at Lawler, adding wet surprise to the conflict.
Neck injury. Now, when was the match? April 5th, right? Mm-hmm. And it's now almost August.
As tensions peaked, Lawler rose again, sending Kaufman fleeing off the set in visible fear. Lawler advanced a few steps before pausing, still glowering. Letterman, left alone at his desk, looked stunned by what had unfolded.
Do you still need that neck brace on there?
Yes.
Yeah?
I do.
The segment ended with an uneasy silence, leaving fans to wonder if they had witnessed real anger or carefully crafted performance. Dragged off set after awkward on-air behavior. During a 2007 episode of Jimmy Kimmel Live, things got strange and uncomfortable very fast. The guests were Andy Dick and Ivanka Trump. While Ivanka was adjusting her outfit, Andy suddenly reached out and touched her leg.
Oh, Andy, don't please. Don't.
Jimmy Kimmel quickly told him to stop, but Andy kept going. He even tried to touch her a second time. Ivanka laughed a bit, but it looked more like nervous laughter than real amusement. Kimmel had to step in and physically stop Andy. Still, Andy kept smiling and acted like it was no big deal.
Andy, you promised you would behave yourself.
I know.
Later, he made an awkward comment asking for a sugar mama. Ivanka laughed again, but the discomfort was visible.
I need a sugar mama.
When Andy reached for her arm, Kimmel had enough. He called security. Instead of leaving calmly, Andy went limp and laid down. Security and Kimmel had to drag him off the stage.
All right, that's on the list.
These shows never fail to deliver unexpected chaos. Click on subscribe so you do not miss part 3. Leave a comment with your favorite moment or send in a suggestion for the next breakdown.